Hey guys, a long time no talk. Today I'm showing you part 1 of what is essentially a travel vlog. I don't show you every single step of the way, but I show you a lot of footage from our drive most of the way across Canada. What you're seeing here is actually where I'm from. This is the lake that I learned to swim in. It's where I spent basically every summer and most of every other season until I was 18. That building right there, that's actually my grandparents' house, and I've spent so much time there. So that was definitely our first stop along the way. After saying goodbye to our actual apartment and our friends, we stopped here and said goodbye to some of my family. And then we had to hit the road. And yeah, that was an interesting kind of thing. I've never had to say goodbye to people for longer than a few months at a time. You know, like when you say goodbye to your friends at the end of the school year because you're all going to different camps for the summer, that kind of thing. So I did really like getting to stop to say goodbye to my grandparents and spend more time with them. And it was also kind of interesting because at that point, I don't think it had quite hit me that we were leaving and this was real. It felt more like we were just going on a trip. At this point in the drive, I distinctly remember just being really excited because I knew I was going to see one of my absolute best friends. So we left from New Brunswick. I'll have to go back and listen. I don't remember if I said where we left from. But I left from New Brunswick and we drove all the way through Quebec to Ontario all in one day. It was definitely one of the longer drives we did. We split it up. I think it was 8 days. We spent 2 days saying goodbye to my grandparents, but 8 days in total from leaving the apartment to getting to our new place. And I just remember reading every sign on the way there obsessively because I was excited to see her and her friggin' cute kid. If you've watched a lot of my videos, I'm certain you have heard her in the background, you've seen him. Her little baby boy is just so friggin' cute. And it was just really exciting that I was going to get to go see them again. And there was a point in time when she told me she didn't think the kid would be there because he was spending a little bit of time with his grandparents. And so I was a little bit bummed about that, but then she told me he was going to be there, and that was very exciting. But that said, I don't actually have any footage of us hanging out or saying goodbye. But we spent the night in Cornwall, and what you're seeing now is us leaving Cornwall, actually. If you've ever been there, you might recognize this off-ramp, but maybe not. No judgments. It's just a little place. And yeah, it was really nice to see them again, and I'm kind of sad we didn't get to spend more time together, but oh well. We're trying to sort something out where we visit anyway. That's not set in stone, but that's a plan we're working on already. So I'm very excited about that. We're not going to dwell on missing friends who didn't live in the same province to begin with, right? From Cornwall, we were driving to Kingston. And Kingston is kind of a significant area for us as a couple. But more importantly than that, we are going to Fort Henry, which is really, really cool. We had been there before, but I was really excited to get to go again. And looking back at all of this footage has been super fun, but I do wish that I'd spent a little bit more time filming us and not just what we were seeing. But this way it's kind of like you were in the car with us, you get to see, I suppose, but And another thing that Ontario has that I thought was really interesting is what they call an en route. And it's essentially a pull-off every couple of kilometers where it's almost like a little miniature mall. And they have like gas stations, a bunch of places to get food, washrooms, that kind of stuff. But there are a lot of them. Like if you're traveling in Ontario and you have to go to the bathroom, you're okay. There is, in fact, a stop coming up. So it's kind of fun. But we also left during construction season, so in a lot of my clips you see those orange and black cones or construction crews off to the side. Summer is construction season. I imagine it is where you are too, but construction season makes everything take so long sometimes, but that's all right. And I really, really feel bad because I wanted to get these videos out so much sooner. But between no internet, getting sick, and just having so much footage to go through in the first place, it's taken a long time to get everything sorted, but that's okay. Another thing that's been really fun to look back on, it was really nice when we were actually doing the drive, but it's been really fun while putting this video together, was just getting to see how pretty Canada actually is. We have so many different types of landscape that I never really gave much thought to before. So it's actually been really a fun project for me to go through all of this. And originally I was going to make this all one really long video, but it was excessively long. I could not expect someone to sit down and sit through that whole video. It was too much footage that I wanted to keep. Because what you're seeing isn't even all of it. It's maybe half of the footage I took, because there was so much, so I kept all my favorite kind of clips. Like right there is an en route. I tried to get a little bit of footage of it, because, we were pulling in anyway. But they're really nifty. I really liked it, actually. And after we left Ontario, I missed them. But we're still in Ontario at this point in the video, so that's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? I remember the drive from Cornwall to Kingston felt so long. I was excited to get to Kingston and get to go see Fort Henry. For those who don't know, Fort Henry is in Kingston. Like it's an attraction, essentially. It feels weird to call it an attraction because it's a historical site, but essentially it's an attraction in Kingston. The drive just felt so long because I was so excited to get there, but also because I was really sad because after leaving my friend's place, it was starting to dawn on me that this wasn't just a trip. It's not like we were going somewhere on vacation and I was coming back in a week or two. We're moving. This is a permanent thing, or at least semi-permanent. That's also the closest I've ever been to a farm. Cannot believe how close they were to the road sometimes. It was really cool. And this is us just pulling into Fort Henry. And you get a lot of clips of me looking around because I really wanted you to be able to see it. Because I just think it's so beautiful. I actually made our trip a little bit longer because I insisted on going to Fort Henry again. Because I just loved it so much the first time. It's absolutely beautiful, and well, this is a parking lot. But it's beautiful. The view is gorgeous of Kingston. And there's just so much blue water, and it was a beautiful day. It was a great day to go, which worked out because it was the only day we were able to go. But it was absolutely beautiful. We stopped at a grocery store to get a couple things for a little quick lunch on the way. And what I didn't realize the first time is that these little shops aren't for show. You can actually go inside and purchase things. Like, I don't know why I didn't realize that before. We must have gone on a day that they were closed or something. I'm not sure. And they also have the cannons over the wall, and they give tours where they actually set the cannons off. But I wanted to mute this so that you couldn't see. And the Fort Henry was so much fun. Definitely one of the more memorable parts of the trip. Mostly because I got engaged. Surprise! That's just a really quick clip so that you can kind of see the ring. Super excited about it. Told most people along this drive, it's part of the reason so much of this is muted in the first place. It's because either we were speaking to each other, traffic was really loud, or I happened to be on the phone with somebody. So while I do wish that I'd spent a little bit more time directly filming us, a lot of other stuff was happening too, and I did want to film a lot of the views because, well, some of it to you is probably just kind of dull because it's us driving, but at the same time, it's so pretty. It is just so pretty. And in case you're wondering where we're going here, we're driving towards Barrie, Ontario. Because we had planned on stopping there for the night, and we took kind of a detour to Kingston. It wasn't a huge detour or anything, but a little bit. But it was really special because it was a place we'd been before that we both really loved. And for those of you who don't know, because I don't know that I'd shared this before actually, so if you don't know me in person, you might not know. But Kingston is actually where my now fiance went to study for school. So during the part of our relationship that we were apart, that's where he was. So it was really special for us to get engaged there because he knew that we could do it and that this long distance wasn't going to be a forever thing. And actually, I don't want to talk about that for too long because I still get a little bit teary because it was a really, really good sentiment to pick that location. And did you know that they put walls up like that along the highway in some places? I did some research on the drive and I found out that it's to help block sound for the residential neighborhood on the other side so that they're not hearing the traffic as much. It's not just for privacy. It's not meant to be like a big fence. Like, that's definitely a perk and might be part of the reason they do it, but it's primarily for sound. And at this point, I think Barrie is the largest city that we had stopped in, but I'm not 100% sure of that. I'd want to go back and look. I should have done that before I started recording. But anyway, I'm relatively certain that Barrie was the largest place that we stopped at this point in the drive. It wasn't the largest place overall. But part of the thing we wanted to do was really not be overly stressed out during the drive. We wanted to try and avoid some traffic. So for example, we did not go through Montreal when we went through Quebec. We went around it. It was a lot simpler that way. It was also really fun to kind of get to see the buildings, get closer and closer, and look how big some of them are. They're just beautiful. And I don't know why exactly, but sometimes seeing the Canadian flag with like the big buildings and the grass and trees and stuff in the background kind of strikes me as majestic. I'm not quite sure why, but it really does. I think it's gorgeous. And yes, that is my reflection. I'm wearing shorts. Doesn't happen very often. doing a really big, long drive like this, especially when you're going for a long time each day, meant that we didn't have a whole lot of time to stop and explore all of the different areas. And we certainly didn't have enough time to stop in every place. So if you end up living in one of the areas that I didn't stop in, sorry. I'd love to hear about how beautiful it is. This is just a hotel that we stayed in. And we actually went to Jack Astor's in Barrie to kind of celebrate the engagement. But I'll talk to you guys later.